It's not every girl you see in the streets that you pick up and take home to your house. This story is currently trending in Kenya, where a young man by the name of Eric Mayago brutally lost his life after he picked up a random girl from the streets. So somewhere around the 14th of September 2023, 36-year-old Eric Mayago, who was an acting finance director at the Nairobi hospital, stumbled upon a young girl by the name of Anne Adiambo. Anne looked pretty young and she looked striking to him. Apparently, Anne was Eric's type. It's not clear where they met, but afterwards, when he met her, it was said he took Anne out for lunch, bought her food, and judging by the way the story is being put, it's almost as if Anne was just a girl that he wanted to help. It's not like they went on a date. It was said he saw her, took her to a restaurant and bought her food. Given their age difference, it's probably safe to assume that it's either Anne was a sex worker or he just thought Anne was a naive girl that he could probably take advantage of. I mean, all he had to do was buy her food and convince her to follow him home. However, this would turn out to be the biggest miscalculation the finance director Eric Miago would have ever made. After buying Anne food, Eric took Anne to his house, not knowing Anne was a monster, because not long after getting to his house, Anne was seen leaving the compound. Not just ordinarily, but weirdly, a CCTV camera caught Anne jumping over the barbed wire fence of Eric's compound. Sources even said she sustained some injuries while jumping over the fence. And even after she jumped over the fence to the next compound, it was said she stole someone's bathroom slippers and went on with her life. It was the next day that Eric's body was found in his pool of blood. He had been mercilessly and brutally stabbed to his death. Lucky for him, the CCTV camera captured the moment Anne was escaping. And when the police reviewed this tape, that was when they knew or figured out their first suspect. She was immediately identified and the police started the search for her. It would take over a week before they would eventually find her. She went into hiding. There was even a time that it was said she came out of hiding and went to see a football match, and another of her friends had to remind her that, oh, Anne, the police are still looking for you, and she went into another round of hiding. Eventually, while the police were seriously searching for her, they saw her clothes that, the one she wore in the CCTV footage the day she killed the man, hung somewhere at the backyard of a friend's house. And that was when they knew she was around. And pretty much that could have been when she was found and arrested. When they saw her, it was clear that she was a minor. But this is where things started getting very interesting with this case, because currently the case is still on. The police are done with their investigation and the case is in court. To speak on it, the police investigation concluded that after Eric brought her home, it did not take long before she stabbed him multiple times. The police investigation also cited that Eric must have been drunk when he brought her home. And when Anne was asked, Anne claimed that Eric tried to force himself on her and that she was defending herself from him when that happened, and that she only stabbed him 3 times to get away. However, though, on the contrary, autopsy revealed that Eric was stabbed nearly 25 times in the face, neck, abdomen, pretty much every part of his body, which is confusing because her statement or her claim is that she was trying to get away from him and she stabbed him just 3 times. Hold on, because it's going to get worse. I know this looks like something on the plain surface, but it's only just going to get worse. Now, when Anne was brought to court, the charges were read to her, and she instantly pleaded guilty. 3 times she was asked if she understood the charges, and she said, yes, I do, and she agreed that she did them. She pleaded guilty. The thing is, the judge was even lenient to her. The judge was kind to her. In fact, it was said the judge told her to go and think about it, that they're not going to take her plea right now, that she don't have to accept it now. In fact, it was learned that she was being charged and judged as a minor, which gives her the upper hands, which gives her a case. And after being given the opportunity to go home and rethink her plea, it was said the next time she appeared in court, she changed it from guilty to not guilty. Unfortunately for her, or confusingly for her, after she changed her plea to not guilty, the court did their own investigation and found out that she was not a minor. All this while, the police and the court thought this was a 16-year-old girl. They thought this was a little girl that Mr. Eric was likely taking advantage of. They thought this was a little girl that was being used and was defending herself from this man. It was later on that they realized that she is 20 years old of age. And not only that, it was also discovered that she had been in prison before. In fact, she had been locked up for 5 years before. And this was revealed by her own mother. When the case blew up, a lot of people who knew this girl started speaking up. Because the original intention or the original narrative was that Eric was trying to force himself on a minor and the minor defended herself. And probably that was why the judge was giving her an option to change her deal. Because they were seeing, oh, she's just a young girl defending herself from a predator. Not knowing that whatever Eric was trying to do with Anne was consensual. She was aware of it. She was an adult. And he most likely was aware that she was an adult, or maybe not. But it doesn't matter. The point is, when the court realized that, oh, this is an adult, clearly the case started changing its face. And adding to that discovery, her mother revealed to the court that her daughter has been arrested before. Even her teachers from school revealed that she was always fond of getting into trouble. And one time she stole a huge sum of money and was sent to a correctional facility for 5 years. So pretty much, this girl is a criminal. And you think this is the worst revelation. In fact, it even got a lot more worse. Somewhere in this revelation of everyone that knew her, it was stated that she had a violent tendency towards animals. That Anne was unusually violent towards animals. That she had a violent thing with animals. She had some kind of obsession with hurting animals, which in my interpretation gave me the sense of a serial killer. I know this is me reaching, but Jeffrey Dahmer was something like that. A lot of serial killers that we know started with animals. And hearing that this girl had a thing for being violent and probably killing animals with her bare hands kind of make me feel that maybe she's a killer. Maybe she's a serial killer in the making. She is not a victim. Presumably, people started suspecting that she probably wanted to steal from Eric, and Eric caught her and she found herself killing him. Although after she killed Eric, she didn't steal anything from his house. She was seen leaving the house without anything. So why did she follow him home, knowing what would have been expected? She's not a child, she's an adult. And even if, this man tried to do something with her, why didn't she tell anyone? And seeing how she jumped the fence pretty much tells you that she might just be a professional, even though she sustained some injuries in the process. And to top it all, she claimed she stabbed him 3 times, which would have been reasonable for somebody, trying to get away from somebody who wants to force themselves on you. But when the autopsy revealed that this man was stabbed 25 times, which means she just kept going. See, do you know what 25 times is? Do you know what it means to stab somebody 25 times? Do you know how many times you have to keep going? And it's just so weird too, because 25 times is enough time for her to be smeared with blood and a lot of visibility in her clothes. Which I think if she had escaped, somebody would have seen her with blood stains all over her body. And if that was not the case, is it also possible that she took her time to clean herself up before she left the house? The point is, all of these things coming up after this case started blowing up kind of reveals that this young girl might have been a crazy, sick killer. A serial killing beast who was just waiting for someone to fall into her trap. And unfortunately for Eric, he was the victim. And this is why we say a lot of men just need to be careful who they pick up from the streets and take home. Not just who you pick up from the streets, who you meet up on the internet, who you chat with. Who knows? It's not every girl that you think, oh, because she's a girl, she's harmless. I'm sure that was what Eric must have thought. I'm sure that's what the Super TV CEO must have also thought, if you remember the story. Even the lecturer that we talked about that was killed by a 16-year-old. It's just an unfortunate situation. The whole story would have been probably different if this was a case of self-defense and the girl was indeed trying to defend herself and this horrible thing happened. But hearing that she has a criminal past at just age 20 and she has the tendency of physically hurting animals and she had stolen money, thousands of Kenyan shillings from somebody who was even sponsoring her education, it goes to show you that this girl was a ticking time bomb. It goes to show you that she was something that was waiting to explode. And even funny enough, she pleaded guilty 3 times, but that was before the judge or the court realized her real age and realized she's not a minor, and now she'll be tried as an adult. I don't know what is going to be for her. I don't know how this case will go. Her claim is that the man was trying to force himself on her, trying to RAP her, and she fought back and stabbed him 3 times. But I think with all these details, with all this evidence, even with our own mother speaking against her and our own teachers, I don't see her standing a chance. I don't. I think she's a serial killer. I think if this case had gone unnoticed, or if the CCTV camera did not catch her, she would have gotten away with this. Is it even possible she had done this before? Is it possible that this man, Mr. Eric, is not the first victim she is killing? I mean, she has every reason to kill people if she wants to steal from there, because she has gone to correctional facility before. This is something we've said before, especially when we talk about people who are, rapists. Part of why some of these supposed rapists end up becoming serial killers and killing their victims is because in the past, after they do what they did to their victims, after they force themselves on their victims and they let it go, they get to go to jail. A lot of these serial killers who end up raping their victims before killing them are just rapists afraid of going to jail because they've gone there before. So now they all just think, okay, instead of having to give this victim a chance to report and describe me to the police, let me end it here. And I think this was the case for Anne. She is a notorious bad girl. She steals. And she probably saw Eric as an opportunity given his job. And she was hoping to steal from him. Maybe she even wanted to steal from him but saw nothing in his house, and that's why she didn't take anything. Or maybe she took some money and she folded it in her pocket. We probably won't know. It's also possible. But seeing that she had been arrested for stealing before, even did 5 years in correctional facility, which most likely it's possible that she must have gone to prison at the age of 15 or 14. They could also interpret that was why she wanted to kill this man, so that by the time she's done, he won't have to report her or find her, so she doesn't have to go back to prison. But then, to stab him 25 times, that is sick and ridiculous. And I think that just shows that this girl was already crazy and was a ticking time bomb looking for someone to explode on. But you guys, let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think about the story. Do you think she's the victim, or do you think she was actually crazy and Eric was the victim? Let me know your thoughts.